Welcome back to Fox Netball. It is all happening here at John Cain Arena, this blockbuster match between the New South Wales Swifts and the Melbourne Vixens. I'm Bianca Chapman, and joining me in commentary, Caitlin Thwaites, and over on the sideline is Shani Norder. Caitlin, I think we've all been waiting for this game because we know the Vixens have been in form, but the New South Wales Swifts, they've been finding a lot of form lately.
They definitely have. They're coming off the back of 2 wins in the last week, so they've been gaining momentum, and it's a really exciting matchup that we've got here today. So the lineups, the Vixens are starting with the same lineup from the previous game there. We've got Liz Watson with the centre bib on, and Kate Maloney swung across to that wing defence. For the Swifts, we see Kelly Singleton in that goal attack, Paige Hadley at wing attack, and Maddie Proud in the centre. And we've already talked up that battle between the two centres, haven't we, Bea?
Yeah, we have. As you see, the Swifts are running out onto court now. Kelly Singleton getting the start at goal attack, and Helen Housby, she has been owning that goal shooter position of late. It was a great performance by Helen Housby. Liz Watson will get us underway for the Vixens. Turner getting a hand in early. Mundy. Kumwenda. Reset through co-captain Kate Maloney. Pressure. The Swifts are bringing the pressure early.
And that double defence back on Kumwenda. Just saying, Kira Austin, you can have it if you want it, and she wanted it.
It's been an incredible couple of rounds and season from Kumwenda. We always rely on her, but she has really been shooting enormous volume.
She really has, and she's stood up. Out of the last 2 games, she has missed one-point shot. So incredible accuracy and under huge amounts of pressure.
Singleton for her first. Austin looks long. Mundy goes back. There's a tussle to try and even get in the circle between Fraser and Austin.
Fraser just trying to set a sneaky little screen there on the goal attack.
First miss from Kira Austin, but first rebound from Sarah Clow. Another defender who has been finding form. We talk about the Diamonds, the Commonwealth Games selection coming up. Sarah Clow is certainly putting her hand up to be in that team.
She definitely is, as we see Olivia Lewis just sneak around the side with that outside arm there. Umpire deeming that a contact, though.
Cool and calm from Kelly Singleton. Proud. Huge performances from her recently. Easily gets it across to Housby. And back again, Housby taking control of the Swifts attack circle.
And a really strong drive from Kelly Singleton there that just drew both of those defenders. Miscommunication between the Vixens defenders, both ending up on the same player. And a little over the sideline there.
The pressure from the Swifts defenders. They're sitting in that box defence. The Vixens having to think differently. Singleton straight out for the centre pass. Maloney gets a hand in, steals it off Hadley. Weston, Housby gets a hand in it. The urgency to every ball from both teams, it's so evident early in this first quarter.
It definitely is there. Contesting everything, and we usually say that the Vixens and the Swifts are 2 teams that line up against each other really well. They play a very similar style of game, that high possession, working the ball to circle edge. Really.
Let's have a look at the Harvey Norman replay. Maloney gets a deflection, picks it up, keeps possession. Let's go across to the first time, and I'm sure not the last time tonight, to Shani Norda.
Well, we hope not, Bianca. But, you know, Caitlin was just saying then how these teams match up against each other really well, but so do the players and each other. You will find, like Caitlin said, about Proud and Lizzie Watson having similar net points. Well, so do Kira Austin and Maddie Turner and everyone else out on the court. What I'm loving so far, just the intensity, the power of the drives, the quickness and what we're letting the ball go, but then the intensity of the defence as we see Olivia Lewis fly. But both teams putting so much pressure on at the moment.
It's round 11. There's 3 more games after this to play for teams to secure their finals position. There is so much on the line. Turner out of play. It's a 2-on-1 in the circle. Plow manages to make the Vixens throw it straight out of court. Singleton, Turner driving down. Housby, she's out of the circle and finds Singleton all on her own.
A really great time drive up the middle then from Housby. Just coming out of that circle, Kelly Singleton driving to the post.
Quite often the Swifts will have no one in the circle, no shooters in the circle. Is that because of their speed they can do that? A lot of teams don't like to do that.
Definitely a lot of teams don't. Usually that's the teams that have got that really strong, tall post-up shooter that likes to take up a lot of that real estate in there. But when you've got that moving circle, you've got the speed, you can actually afford to leave it open, knowing that one of them's going to get there.
Swifts leading by 2. Just under 10 minutes to play in this first quarter. Watson goes high, Clouds in perfect position to pull the ball in. Singleton to Housby. That was so easy.
A really quick transition down the court from the Swifts. Vixens defenders just getting caught in no man's land in between.
Shani Norda.
It's going to be a real test tonight for Olivia Lewis. We know that she's really great on those tall players, but it is so hard to defend a moving circle. Not only that, Helen Housby, who's playing so strong at the moment, so she's got to keep her eyes up and focus on her one-on-one defence. But as I'm saying that, Emily Mannix is coming on to have a crack. Let's see how she goes.
Well, you called it early. Emily Mannix entering the game for the Vixens. Kwenda rewards her up the other end. Strong drives from Singleton. She has grown over this season. A Swifts Academy player come into the lineup.
As we see, Maddie Proud's just gone down behind play. It's not unfamiliar for her to be on the floor, but just taking a little moment to get herself up.
Weston really bodying up now on Kelly Singleton, not allowing her that free play that she's had out the front. Out of play, Weston, Singleton. Will she make her pay? She sure does. Accurate start, 4 from 4 for Kelly Singleton. Austin, what can she do? Liz Watson runs straight into her. Watson to Austin.
And we see the Swifts doubling back on Kwenda there. Oh, a strong take from Mundy, under pressure from 2 defenders.
That is an incredible take from the youngster, Hannah Mundy. You can see Maddie Proud just in the background. She doesn't look right.
Have another look at Mundy.
Just a strong take, Katie.
Really strong. She knew she was going to get the hit. Quite often you brace yourself for those, don't you?
And a lot of mid-quarters will pull out of that because they think the defenders are there. That's what you love as a defender. But the fact that she just stood tough. Housby cruising on the baseline.
A beautiful little roll-off there.
A smile on her face. She is enjoying it so far, and why wouldn't you be? 6 from 6 at 100%. Kelly Singleton, 4 from 4. The Vixens get back within 3, but the Swifts, they are taking control. Proud straight to Housby. Mannix had her eyes down. I want to talk to you about the rivalry between the Swifts and the Vixens. It goes way back to before our time, but during our time, you played for the Swifts for a while. I always remember that speed on attack that the Swifts have coming down the court, but in the shooting circle, it was so hard to stop, Katie. It's just a signature way that the Swifts play.
Yeah, and it's, as we see Western with a couple of elbows in the back there. Yeah, the Swifts have always got that really, you know, traditional moving circle, that really great ball speed, all of those things. You know, I was very lucky to have the likes of a Susan Pettit and a Kim Green out the front of me.
Watch these Harvey Norman replays. Western tries hard to get that from Proud, but she's straight in her back. Now, it's a HCF tactical timeout. The Melbourne Vixens have called it. Let's take a listen into Simone McInnes.
She's coming to you, so maybe I'll push her away from you. Yeah. I feel like I'm in a good
the co-captain of the Vixens, she's taking control.
She definitely is, and it was interesting, her and Joe Weston there just having a quick chat. As we see Paige Hadley is trying to get the mismatch a lot of the time. She's finding Joe Weston and getting that mismatch a bit further down the court.
Swifts get us underway. Shani Norda, what were they saying in the Swifts camp?
Well, exactly what Katie was just saying. Bryony was having a chat to Paige about that mismatch. Not a great pass there as Emily Mannix takes this throw in, but just to stay really calm, she was really happy with the movement in attack. She didn't talk to the shooters at all, which means they're doing good things. And then defensively, just to keep flying, I think the Swifts defense are matching the Vixens well at the moment because they're lacking that change of direction. They're running straight lines, but that's what the Swifts love because they can match them on speed.
We take a look at the missing net points. So far, Maddie Proud leading the way. She has been dominant all season. And then followed by three other teammates.
All of them doing a really great job, aren't they?
And that's the start the Vixens wanted out of their timeout. Watson, powerful pass to Kumwenda.
Strong hands, but sloppy on the take, on the feet.
Turner goes long to Proud. Look at the Swifts. Straight away, they try and find the speed. Hadley, what can she do? They get the penalty. And it's a feed into Houseby. Offensive contact. The Vixens into attack. Weston throws it away. Proud is all over it.
Vision was being blocked there. I think she thought that was her teammate.
Maloney comes flying through. Which team are going to steady and take a breath? The intensity is enormous.
Every single one of these balls is being taken with a body or a person contesting. Let's just have another look at Maloney coming through for that steal.
Just casually flicks it over her head. Great Harvey Norman highlight. There's going to be plenty more of those. Hadley to Houseby. We're in the power five, the last 5 minutes of every quarter. Singleton opts for one.
It's almost a little fade away there from Singleton. A little rock back away from the defenders.
Bryony Aker will be very impressed by the start from her shooting end. There she is, head down, taking notes. Watson across to Mundy. Mundy fires it through up the middle. Strong presence from Kumwenda in the circle.
And we've seen that in the last couple of weeks, just that front space, that pop from Kumwenda. The Vixens midcourters being able to hit her, just releases a lot of that pressure and gets them straight down the court.
Singleton gives it off to Hadley. It's a 2-on-1 against Housby. You can see the push, the shove. Housby says, don't worry about any of that. I'll show you how to do it.
We take a look at the last 10 there.
It's pretty even, isn't it, across, I mean, that's how the game feels. It's just very even at the moment all over the court. Very even. Austin out of the circle. She looks in. Can she? No, she can't. Turner, right position. They split the circle and they made sure they had the middle blocked. Singleton to Housby. Hadley looks in. Maloney, arms all over it. Turner to Hadley. Proud to Singleton. Back to Hadley. They're happy to fly it around, but Mannix gets the hand.
That little roll-off move again.
Great positioning from Emily Mannix. She didn't come up with it, but it was great positioning there to get a hand to it. As we see that, she couldn't quite pull it in. Housby was too strong. And straight away, Singleton burns Weston to the post.
Paige Hadley just conveniently getting in the way of Jo Weston, which left Kelly Singleton with that drive.
And surely that's a strategic play. You have both shooters out of the circle, try and block them up as they're coming through.
Yeah, Paige Hadley would know exactly what she's doing there by getting in the way. Ooh, one straight through the hands, but Helen Housby is first to it. Maddie Proud just telling her team to take a breath, calm down.
Weston out of play. Singleton opts for the one, straight to Housby. Safe hands under the post.
7-goal lead here for the Swifts with the centre pass.
Less than 50 seconds to play in this first quarter. 17 goals to the Swifts. It's been a huge first quarter from them. Mundy pulls it in.
Great strong take.
Spectacular athleticism from Hannah Mundy. Watson, Kumwenda, they're trying. Both shooters out of the circle. Austin Cloud gets a hand. What can she do? Leans over the shot.
With a little tip on the hand there from Cloud. So Kira Austin gets a second shot here in that 2-point zone.
20 seconds, plenty of time. Kira Austin for her first Suncorp super shot of the game, but look at that Harvey Norman replay. Hannah Mundy, that is exactly what they want to see from her in that wing attack. Ferocious in attack, but pulling in the ball in defence. And there we have it. The first quarter has been won by the Swifts. Incredible performance from both teams. Stay with us because we have the rest of the game following and I can't wait to watch.
And welcome back to John Cain Arena, where the Swifts are currently on top of the home side. The Vixens have been listening in to the huddle, where Liz Watson has swapped back to wing attack and Hannah Mundy has gone into that centre position. They want the girls using some boards with their hands to try and get the Swifts defenders off that ball. But if you ask me, they just need to play some safer ball option. Defensively, they need to slow the ball down the court so that Jo Weston and Emily Mannix have a better chance of getting some tips and touches. What did you hear in the other huddle, Bianca?
Well, not Bianca, but Caitlin. We heard in the Swifts huddle there, they were talking about when the Vixens shooters are driving up that middle. They really want the voice there. They've been isolating one of the Vixens shooters with the ball in their hand, the two back in there. Their defensive coach, Beck Bully, really just wanting the voice from behind to close on that drive that's happening up the middle from the Vixens shooters.
The Origin quarter-time huddle, I love being able to get the insights. I mean, Shani Norder was pretty much in the Vixens huddle. They had to kick her out of the way just so that they could get together as a team. What a game we have on our hands. The Swifts are going to get us underway through Maddie Proud. start of this second quarter.
We see Kate Eddy being tasked with the job back on Paige Hadley, and we know that she spent a bit of time up in Sydney playing for the Swifts, so she will know exactly what to do against this mid-court.
Quick 1-2, Singleton to Hadley. For one. The Swifts have scored 7 of the last 10. The Vixens will be very eager to get on the board.
And a contest there from Maddie Turner, just not able to keep it in over the sideline there. Joe Weston to bring the ball back in for the Vixens.
Eddy finds Maloney. Austin struggling to get it through, but she does. Through a bounce pass, she finds Kumwenda. Rather than try and go over the tall hands of Sarah Clow.
Maybe that's what they meant about doing some of those balks. If we balk it high, then they can go underneath. M. Mannix comes up with a...
Oh, Houseby, she jumps, what elevation. The defensive pressure applied by the attackers, especially for the Swifts at the moment, it really helps slow down the Vixens as they come into attack. They're having to do far more passes than we've probably seen for a lot of the season so far.
Slow their way down.
And the Swifts, they're away. Proud, Houseby.
That great baseline drive from Singleton, just missed there with her big hands over.
Hadley, the calming influence, but Singleton can't hang on to the ball. Keep an eye on this now, how many passes the Vixens need to get it out of their defence. This is helpful. Hadley out of play.
It does let some of that pressure off when you've got less
Maloney
in play.
Austin takes a strong drive. She demands that ball back from Lizzie Watson.
That's exactly it. It was a demanding drive, wasn't it? Had to be picked up by the defenders. But the sweep across the circle is one of her specialties.
When an attacker is on a mission, they're very hard to stop when they're demanding the ball, taking the drive. And the Vixens are being rewarded for the effort. They get back within 3. We see the Vixen shooting stats. Kira Austin, 6 from 6 and 1 super shot. Sorry, 6 from 7 and 1 super shot. Maloney.
And the Swifts there, both shooting at 100%.
Phenomenal accuracy under the post. What can the Vixens do? Kumwenda. You can see that Turner and Kumwenda, they're pushing, they're shoving, they're trying to hold position.
And it was well recognised there for the ball to go in. There was a mismatch with Turner, who's that little bit shorter on Kumwenda. They could afford to put that one up, not as risky as going over the top of Clow.
Houseby, no one in the circle for the Swifts. It doesn't matter, they've got the speed. Across they go, through Proud. Just a little tap over the top. Houseby pulls it in. What would you do if you were the Vixens? Would you keep the defensive line the same? Houseby, phenomenal performance so far. She's 11 from 11, 100%.
I think the Vixens' understanding between Mannix and Weston is really great, and the fact that when the two of them are on, trying to keep the shooters separated so that they can't actually work together, they can't set some of those screens. So I think at the moment, Mannix and Weston are doing the job, but we know that sometimes just throwing on that change-up, it can actually cause a few turnovers from a change-up.
Have a look at this. It's a 2-on-1 against Houseby. She still comes up with an incredible passing. Oh, Joe Weston, she wants a piece of the action. Just as we were talking about what they do. Great play from Joe Weston.
And quick as you like. Maloney finds herself on circle edge. And she wants more from her team.
HCF tactical timeout. The New South Wales Swifts have caught a halt in momentum. They can feel the Vixens coming. It's a 2-goal lead to the Swifts. Let's take a listen to what Bryony Akel has to say.
Let's all come together. What I did love then with that last passage play with Paige was you're getting circle edge and driving around. What I think we need to go back to is you staying out of second number, use the width of the court, but we don't need this pass going straight across. They've read that. So even if you're going in, she gets this pass high, you're straight into the circle. If she's on this here, one of you has to be in the circle. Drive middle or drive ball side. Yeah? I just think we need to go back to isolating, using the width of the court. I think we're getting stuck on top of each other. Does it feel like that? Use the face. Let's look into Helen. But Helen, you've got to be on the move and create something. On the centre pass, I almost think we've got to do the work before the whistle goes. We've gone back to just waiting till it goes. Lose there. I'm going to do time to stagger. Guys, let's get involved here. Connect. Good job, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Final go. Let's go. Hey.
Isn't that interesting, Bianca, hearing Swift's coach there say exactly what you were asking before? The Swift shooters, both of them out of the circle. She's asking for one of them to be in the circle there. They're using the width of the court, but the Vixens defenders have read that a couple of times. They're asking their middies to look straight into Helen Housby.
Just before we go across to Shani, she spoke about preliminary moves. Even an experienced player like Paige Hadley on wing attack, they want the preliminary moves. They want to distract the defenders before that centre pass whistle goes. Shani Norda, what are the Vixens camp wanting to do?
The Vixens are loving Lizzie Watson's give and go, and they're wanting Mike and Wendy to draw those defenders back together to try and open up Kira Austin, almost like they're doing with Helen Housby down the other end. But I'd just like to comment on that amazing box that the Swifts just put on to mix it up, and they've got a turnover reward for it as well.
And their quick play straight out of the blocks for the Swifts, trying to catch the Vixens defenders off guard, not letting them set up. Proud. MVP last week against the Lightning. Eddie picks up the scraps and the Vixens are away. Maloney to Weston. The penalty gets taken. Weston straight to Maloney. Austin out of the circle, the movement. That's what they want in there. As we've come to expect from co-captain Liz Watson, that precision passing, the feed into Kira Austin, and she doesn't let them down.
She provides so much volume in those feeds, doesn't she, for the Vixens? Potentially just being in that centre position for her, maybe getting caught out a little bit too far away from the circle edge. I know as a shooter, I love to have the main feeder sitting nice and close, really close to the circle edge. For me, it makes you feel like you're safe. The ball's going to come in as soon as if you've got that really close connection with your wing attack.
That's really interesting. Is that because then everybody else can do a lot of work on the centre pass, and the second phase ball is what you want the wing attack to get, so it's closer on the edge of the circle?
Yeah, the main feeder kind of having that really close connection. You can get that timing off your wing attack where they're going to almost anticipate where they're going to catch the ball, so that you can already be in the position that you want to be in.
And another player who is in form for the Magpies, Kelsey Brown, when she's at wing attack, you can see how incredibly strong that connection is with Shimona Nelson.
And also having that attack on the circle from the mid-quarters actually means that the defenders have to think about whether they're going to have a crack at that ball coming into the mid-quarter, or do they leave their shooter or not? Which sometimes gets them caught in that in-between space, and you might find yourself under the post by yourself.
One goal, the difference at John Cain Arena. The Swifts, they're leading. We've got under 7 minutes to play in the second quarter. Housby has been owning the attack circle for the Swifts. Here she goes again. Just absolutely dominating. We've seen it from her the last few games especially. And we look at the Nissan net points. Kate Maloney leading the way. She's shot to the top at 48. Hannah Mundy also impressive for the Vixens, but it's been Proud, Housby and Turner. Proud to Hadley. Hadley tries to find Housby. She can. Straight over the top to Singleton. Super impressive performance from Kelly Singleton.
She's definitely telling Bryony, no, don't sub on so performance yet. Want you to stay, leave me out here.
Kelly Singleton also leading. The centre pass receives. Oh, Jo Weston deflected the pass, then nearly put it in the ring herself. For all of our viewers, had that gone in the ring, it's play on. You just grab it out. Maloney, set a pass. Liz Watson, she's straight out of the blocks. Kumwenda out of the circle. Vixens having a go at what Swifts have been doing well. All shooters are out. Austin.
We see that isolate happen again there. And what opens for them is when Kira Austin gets in the circle, one of the defenders has to pick her up, which leaves the one-on-one. Whereas when Kira Austin's got the ball in her hands outside the circle, the Swifts defenders are sinking the two back in on Kumwenda.
As you hear the siren go, the power five is now in play. The Swifts leading by 3. Singleton bounces to Housby. Strong baseline drive, strong shot. 17 from 18 for Helen Housby. Eddie to reset. Proud and Watson getting tangled up. We knew the matchups in the mid-court were going to be exciting to watch, and they haven't let us down, Katie. Austin for 1.
Singleton with nowhere to go but over the top, just throwing it to the advantage of Taylor Fraser.
3 goals the difference. You can tell the Vixens have picked up the pace. Mannix hands over. Weston holding out Singleton, but a great screen to allow Housby that space. You were very good at that, Katie. Unfortunately for me, coming up against you a lot, that screen was your forte. Not the quickest. I had to
Find a strength somewhere else.
Oh, Austin and Clow almost clashing heads. Just over 3 minutes to play in this second quarter. The Swifts, they're in control. The Vixens, though, not far away. Singleton to the top. Hadley, what a brilliant pass.
Bullet pass in there, and we see Ali Smith just enter the game behind play. Taylor Fraser taking a breath on the bench there.
Ali Smith, for those that might remember, she's been a Melbourne Vixens contracted player for the last couple of seasons. This is her first year with the New South Wales Swifts. Went up there to get a bit more court time. She certainly is an asset for them coming off the bench.
Definitely is, and 2 years ago for the Vixens Premiership, she was an incredible impact player and very well utilised.
Especially in that semi-final when Kate Eddy was out with her injury. Incredible performance by the youngster. The Swifts, they try and keep it in, they can't. But they're straight into defence as Mannix gets the Vixens away. The penalties, there's a lot of them early. Watson, across she goes to Eddie. Maloney in the safe hands to Austin. Back to Maloney. What can they do? Kumwenda signals with her hand. I'm here. I'm free. If you have a look at where Kumwenda's shooting, there's not much else other than around in that non-Suncorp super shot range. She likes that close to the post.
Nice and close, and she's so good at getting it there as she just protected that ball side. So the ball, she doesn't have to contend with the defender if she has already protected that space for the ball to go in flat and hard.
The Swifts, across they go, back to Ali Smith. Singleton breaks them up the middle. Maloney, Eddie gets her hands in, Maloney picks it up. Under 1 minute to go in the second quarter. Maloney has to go back. Plenty of time for the Vixens to score.
Reset back to the line. Looking at the score breakdown there across those 2 quarters.
The Vixens are winning this second quarter. The Swifts, it was all theirs in the first. And scores are even. Listen to the crowd, Katie. They are loving what they're seeing. Austin to Watson.
Kumwenda almost trying to give that one back to Lizzie Watson. Kira Austin.
She can't make that one count. 5 seconds to play. Maloney gets her hands in. Disrupts the Swifts. No more opportunity for either team. And what a first half of netball we have seen. 28 apiece. It was the Swifts leading by 5 in the first quarter. And then the Vixens winning that one. Welcome back to Fox Netball. You are watching this round 11 clash between the Melbourne Vixens and the New South Wales Swifts. Scores are even. We're starting again in this second half. You can see the Vixens huddle on your screen, but we're going to cross down to the New South Wales Swifts coach, Bryony Akel. You must be very happy with that first half, Bryony.
Oh, I'm super happy with, especially our start. It's a bit of a shame that we didn't keep that up, but certainly happy with the effort.
And Bri, I'm just wondering, in terms of the changes in your shooting circle, it seems to be that you've been growing in the confidence of those changes and things. Do you think that the girls are understanding their roles in terms of that, and it makes those changes a bit more seamless?
Yeah, absolutely. When you don't have a big holding shooter, I think for us it was about getting used to a rotating circle and the movement and what that looked like. And I certainly think that we've got that groove going now, which is great, so I can make those changes.
And what are you hoping to see from Ali Smith out there? You've injected her into the game as well.
Yeah, I think she brings great energy, and she's certainly tough out there and goes for those loose balls and makes it hard for opposition. So, yeah, looking forward to her out there now.
And just finally, how much are you keeping an eye on what's happening with the ladder and all the other results that are happening every time?
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely crazy. It's just so unpredictable.
I know, but we are loving it being able to watch. Thank you so much for joining us, Bryony, and enjoy the second half.
Thanks, guys.
The Swifts get us started for the second half, and Helen Housby, a huge take. Look at her. She started strong. She's come on into this second half exactly how we expected. Sophie Fawns has entered the game. Helen Housby has moved to goal attack. And as you mentioned, Ali Smith got injected into the Swifts wing defence in that last part of the second quarter. Watson, straight up to Kumwenda, confident feed.
Taking the ball with 2 on her. Second half has started exactly the same way as the first.
Hadley, straight out for the centre pass. Proud to Housby. Hadley fakes one way, Mannix gets a hand in. Oh, Weston flies across.
Unfortunately, that ripper of an intercept doesn't count. The whistle had already gone.
Didn't that look great? Should be very disappointed that didn't count. Vixens through Maloney at centre. box defense on for the Swifts. You can see them. They're all floating together, working together in a box formation. Kumwenda, sneaky over-the-top pass to Austin.
And a really great, that little fake, that little look across the circle. Kate Maloney had that strong drive into the pocket, which meant that the circle defender was a little bit interested in what she was doing, and it left the shooter by themselves.
Hadley goes back to Smith. Proud, Sophie Fawns. Come on for the second half, but we've seen some great performances from her this season. A Swifts Academy player like her fellow shooter in Kelly Singleton. And a big hip and shoulder from Kate Maloney. She gets penalised. Fawns, double play. The confidence. And Maloney comes up with the win. Look at the expression on her face. Shani Norda, how have you seen this second half already?
It's so hard for someone like Sophie Fawns to come into a game that is so intense like this. But as I was saying about Kelly Singleton at half-time, you just need to turn to the post and put the ball up so the defenders can do that. And for me, Liz Watson, after an amazing goal there from Kumwenda, Liz Watson showing her strength here. Just have a watch of her on this centre pass and her ability to find the space. Whilst she's great in centre, I don't know how she just manages to find space between plays every single time, and they've just got this great width that they're using in that attack end at the moment, which is really helping them get that ball into the circle, and it's working a lot better there than what it was in the first half. But I want to see these shooters going to post.
Spoken like a true defender, hey? It's so easy, isn't it, Sean?
Oh, just put it up and in, says the defender. There we go.
Hadley now doing the bulk of the work on the centre pass. Kelly Singleton was doing that in the first half. Hadley taking control. Fawns out of the circle. Hadley looks straight in. Housby goes across, drives, wants it again. And another penalty against Mannix. The Vixens leading by 1. You have a look at Helen Housby's shooting circle, where she's shooting from. Very similar to Kumwenda from the Vixens when we saw hers. Maloney, over the top she goes. Just a nice, easy dish off to the one-on-one. That shooter-to-shooter pass is so hard to defend. Hadley again, on her own out for that centre pass. Goes back to Turner. Housby in the middle. Plenty of options. Bryony Akle just telling Helen Housby to be short and sharp with her movements. And a quick shuffle.
Rebound there from Weston. She comes up with it.
Uncharacteristic miss from Helen Housby. The pressure is on everyone. This is like finals netball. Weston goes long, has to pick it up again. The Swifts, they're in defense. You can see a sea of red. They have hands over every single pass, straight up from Proud. Watson finds her way onto the edge. And it can be so exhausting when you're having to do that much work to bring it down the court. Constantly got defenders on you. We see the last 2 goals there from the Vixens. Got a turnover with the centre pass to follow. You talk about, how exhausting it is to be able to apply that pressure. So does it come down to the battle of the fittest team in the end?
Well, sometimes you can see that wear down effect. So in terms of having that body on you for the whole time, you might not get the turnovers initially, but heading towards the back end of the game, you might get a bit of a fumble. That's when you might see some of those turnovers and the effect of that physicality and the let's not forget, this is the third game that they've played in 8 days.
It's been an enormous effort from all the teams in the Suncorp Super Netball. The midweek games making way for the Commonwealth Games coming up in the middle of the year.
The Vixens crowd not liking the call on that one. They thought it might have been thrown straight out from
for her first.
Great shot there. That's the confidence that Shani wanted from the shooters.
The Vixens, they had the 7 of the last 10 goals. The Swifts, they're breaking the momentum. They're coming back. Austin takes that one strongly. Turner, the pressure she's applying, that physicality.
A nice strong take in the air from Kumwenda.
What about the athleticism from Kumwenda?
We know that something special is about to happen when she turns that on, don't
It's
we?
almost the way she eggs her team on. Eddie, strong and solid, just could not stay onside. Proud to Fawns. Here we go again. You'd be very happy with that shooting technique.
Yeah,
Wait.
there's a very nice flick at the end. All of those things as we see the missing net points here.
Maloney shooting to the top with 71. But Maddie Proud on 58.
She wants that centre big back from Liz, doesn't she?
I think there's a bit of an internal battle going on over here. Housby. The Swifts have been slowed down in attack. You can feel it, can't you?
Or as Paige Hadley threads a needle and Fawns comes up with the scraps on the tip. Oh, and another one. It's like Paige Hadley just said, if you didn't catch the first one, I'm going to do it again for you. There's the first.
Great to see on our Harvey Norman replay. We can relive some of the best moments that are happening. We've got just over 6 minutes to play in the third. Turner can't find an option, puts her hands up, come forward. Last week, the round 10 clash. The Swifts had a 1-goal win against the Lightning, but what really cost them in that game was their third quarter. And if we look at what's happening in the third quarter here, the Vixens, they're leading so far by 4 in this third quarter. Hadley to Housby. Maloney in front position. You can't ask for more than that. She couldn't hold on to it. And another confident shot by the youngster, Sophie Fawns, only 18 years old. You see the Swifts, the last 3, the Vixens will want to score. Kumwenda up the middle.
Really great space in terms of when the Swifts have got that box defence on. So they're covering quite a bit of space, but if you can get someone driving up the middle of that box, quite often it actually breaks it open. Means that the defenders can't work together anymore. So that little pop from Kumwenda up the middle, really great strategy there.
You heard the siren, the Power 5 is in play. Not to be used just yet by Sophie Fawns. We talk a lot about the box defence, something Swifts are doing really well. And you can see it here. Ali Smith comes up with that one. Hadley goes long to Fawns. Turner backing up. They're trying to create momentum. Housby cuts in front. Weston cuts her off. And the Vixens, they come up with it. That pressure is building.
Quick transition, just halted there. Liz Watson making a smart decision just to change of pace.
Kumwenda with the layup. And it's not to be, it's a stepping call against Maui Kumwenda. She can't quite believe it. And the Swifts, they're down by 1, a chance to get scores even again.
Let's have a look.
That's a hard one to call. Maybe just the flashier it looks, the more they look at your feet. Cowsby wants it in the Suncorp super shot range. Fawns can't quite make that one sink. And the Vixens are away.
Gotta love the confidence from the youngster though. Turning and having a go.
We spoke about that in the half-time show, just the confidence that it builds by even attempting, let alone when you actually sink them. Watson to Kumwenda. Brilliant feed from Lizzie Watson.
Over the top of, there was a lot of bodies in front of her. Had the sense to just go, none of that, going right to the post.
We heard the defensive coach and assistant coach for the New South Wales Swifts, Rebecca Bully, a former teammate of ours, speak about how she wanted Clow to just stay in front, get them to risk it, get them to put it over you. You're much taller than Kumwenda.
And to back her, the physical presence that she can have over the shot as well. Just saying, if you can shoot over me, well then, good on you, but I'm going to make it as hard as possible for Clow, be as intimidating as possible. That's the goalkeeper's job, isn't it, Bianca?
100%, 1,000%. Look at the penalties there. The Swifts edging 10 ahead from the Vixens. Not much to read in that just yet. And the Vixens take their lead out by 2. Under 2 minutes to play in the third. Housby to Proud, goes flying down court. Fawns to Hadley to Housby.
Little pirouette in the air as she took that one.
And a comfortable shot for Helen Housby. 26 goals. What can the Vixens do?
They can answer.
They can answer.
Right,
they take their lead back to 2.
See the Vixens coaches there. Maddie Proud just finding herself in the pocket all by herself, but couldn't progress forward, having to reset back to the line.
What's been the difference in this quarter, Katie, for the Vixens and the Swifts? You know, you can see a real change in what's been happening out there.
Yeah, I think obviously having Fawns come in, it's a different timing for the Swifts attack line there. So it did actually take them a few minutes to kind of click into that. Fawns taking a little bit more of that shooting load for the Swifts.
Austin finds Kumwenda all on her own.
And the great little fake then again to the pocket from Kira Austin.
Last time these two teams played in round 2, Kira Austin was still recovering from her ACL injury, had limited court time.
Second game back.
And of course the Swifts, it was their first game without Sam Wallace.
A lot has happened.
A lot has happened. A lot has changed.
Oh,
Sophie Fawns in for defence and in for attack. Confident shot by the youngster. Incredible third quarter here at John Cain Arena. The Vixens leading the charge, but only by 1. Don't go anywhere. We've got the last quarter coming up.
These guys can't hunt. We must be an option, runner.
Yeah.
Runner, yeah?
I went to screen and
So this is going to get tougher and tougher. We just need to keep doing the work. Don't get in the battle. Come off them, drive and drop. I've told them I want them to turn to the post. Turn to those, be there. We've gone away from being a triangle and being behind. Stay engaged on that circle edge.
Don't get into the battle was what Coach Bryony Akel from the Swifts said. That was the 3-quarter Origin energy time. Now, when you talk about that, she wants them to drive and drop. She wants them to find their own space.
Yeah, definitely. And so in terms of utilising their you know, their toolkit, using all of those prelims, making sure that the drive and drop, so driving, having that defender with them, stop in their tracks and find another space or another angle. So, yeah, they're asking for them to be catching the ball without a defender on them, obviously.
Well, that's what the Swifts want to do. What do the Vixens want to do, Shani?
In defence, they want to keep off the body. They want to be moving back and forth, defending that space. And in attack, which is bizarre, but they want them hitting the bodies. They really want them driving to where they want to go. They know this is going to be an extremely physical last quarter, and Simone doesn't want them taking a step back. She wants that relentless work ethic and that work rate up for the full 15 minutes. And it's going to be a hot quarter, team, that's for sure.
Get ready. When you talk about Simone, you're talking about Simone McInnes, and we do know that this game is the Sergeant McInnes Cup is up for grabs. Both teams want it. The Vixens have one hand on it. And that shot from Kira Austin just helps get them that little bit closer to stealing it from the Swifts. Smith across to Turner. Proud to Hadley. Fawns. Housby, what can she do? Mannix and Weston, both in there. A physical clash. Housby recovers, balances. Let's have a look at this. I mean, Mannix did have her hands on the ball, but it's the pressure, it is the intensity, and it's contesting those passes that really put the bodies on the line.
And that physicality, we come to expect that. Both of them obviously going for the...
Oh, Kawenda keeps that one in.
And Kate Eddy first to it on the line.
Maloney to Austin. Shooter to shooter, Kawenda can't pull it in. Watson tries to go back to Kawenda.
Every single one of those takes under pressure.
Both teams too have had two tight games to really fight it out in the end. We saw the lightning as Kawenda goes. She flicks it back to Eddy. Great Harvey Norman highlight. I was talking about the pressure. The Swifts, they had to really fight it out. They won by one against the Lightning right in the dying minutes. And then, of course, the Vixens had an extra time game against the Giants. That experience counts for a lot.
Experience and confidence in those pressure moments to know that you can pull it out when you need to. You can control the pace, you control the clock and the scoring, the ability to score when you need to.
Twinkle toes from Kawenda on the baseline. She gets it back in her safe hands.
And a little high five behind play between Austin and Kawenda. Just missed Lizzie Watson at the top of the circle there.
But there is Watson now. Kawenda not confident to shoot. Wants to go back out. Another penalty. Austin can't make it count, but Kawenda flies for it.
Kawenda just finishing that one off, and you can sense just that little bit of a change of pace. Kate Eddy, daylight robbery.
What an incredible performance from Kate Eddy since she has entered the game. Austin, Kawenda, the Vixens, they are showing right now why they are sitting on the top of the ladder. They extend their lead now to 5, and no surprises, a HCF tactical timeout has been called by the New South Wales Swifts. Look at this work by Kate Eddy. She just stayed in there.
And Helen Housby hadn't quite gained possession, and that's why that one was deemed legal from the umpires.
And that's why they say 2 hands on every ball if you can. Let's take a listen into the New South Wales Swifts.
No, just leave it at 5. Leave it at 5. Guys, bring it in here. Bring it right in here. Your heads are so not here. It's so noticeable. The little loose balls, the rebounds. How do we cue each other back into this game right now? Use our flashlight. Put that flashlight on. Let's go. Where is our flashlight right now in terms of your own performance? Do the job. Come on. All right. You know the plan. Let's get out there and execute. Let's go. Do not wait till the last 5 minutes to step this up. This is not good enough. Let's go.
really taking control. We know that the Swifts have had a huge focus on their mindfulness, and you could see it in there. I don't think I've seen Bryony Akel so fired up, but turn your flashlight on. That is obviously something that they refer to, that is a cue that triggers for them to switch on, get ready, be in the moment.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I'm not sure any of them will actually tell us what that means, but it sounds like it means something to the team, and that is exactly what they're wanting to do in this moment. Turn the flashlight on. It might be that they're focusing on those 1%ers. Bryony Akel not happy that they weren't onto those rebounds, those loose balls.
Vixens out by 6. They've scored 7 of the last 10. And another mistake by the Swifts. The Vixens try and pick it up early and go.
They're halfway down the court.
This is the speed that we saw from the Swifts in the first half, but the Vixens are really running with it now.
Definitely are that full speed.
We can see behind play, the Swifts are having conversations. The bench for the Swifts, they're up. They were warming up. What changes will be made, Katie? Would you make a change?
Well, if the players on court can't make the change themselves, they've called that timeout already to address it, then you would expect that the coaches might go to the personnel change.
Watson, Maloney, demanding drives from everyone in the Vixens attack.
And Kumwenda doing all she can to keep that ball in play. Just collecting the sign over there.
What a brilliant performance from Kira Austin. Let's go down to Shani Norda.
If the Swifts want to stay in this game, they really need to slow that ball down defensively. It's getting down way too quick, and it's not allowing Sarah Cloud to have a crack at the ball. So, and in attack, they just need to keep backing each other again, keeping that movement going. So it's a tight game, team, but I've been super impressed with Kate Eddy. I know that missing net points aren't too kind to the wing defence because you don't get points for the block, but you know, I think the pressure that she's been putting on has allowed her to get turnover, but then her defenders get turnovers as well. So that's what I want to start seeing a bit more from the Swifts in this last 9 minutes.
Is this, Shani, is this you saying, I see you, wing defences?
Yes, it is. I see you, wing defences. Yes. I am here to give you a shout out no matter what. I played there once upon a time, and most of you watching were too young. But, you know, this Vixens defence has really stepped up. And, you know, you talked about making changes. I don't know. Would you put Kelly Singleton back on the court? She had quite an impact in that first half.
Austin to Watson. Maloney. Austin just floating around in the background. Turner giving her so much space.
We just see that quarter breakdown, 8-2 in this. That's 9-2 in this final quarter.
We see Kelly Singleton. She's got the goal shooter bib on. She's sitting next to the coaching staff. Miss and net points. Shani might not be a fan of what they do for wing defences, but Maloney, she is out in front with 96. And then the next best, 40 points away, is Paige Hadley.
Oh, Kate Eddy!
Climbing up the miss and net points ladder, surely now with all her turnovers. Watson to Kumwenda. Vixens far more in control. They are playing like a team that are on top of the ladder. Kelly Singleton for the New South Wales Swifts has entered back into the game at goal shooter. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Fraser on at wing defence. Kumwenda strives through the middle channel.
Onto the loose ball was Kira Austin. And just though, all of that physical pressure under there, Clow and Kumwenda getting tangled with their arms.
Proud. Can she pull it in? She does. Back to Smith and Eddy. Shani Norda, you have just given Eddy the blessing to stand up
welcome, Kate Eddy.
be counted.
Wing D, wing D.
to Hadley. Can they make a score out of this, the Swifts?
Oh, one-handed take from Helen Housby. I think she might have been holding hands with Joe Weston there.
Harvey Norman highlight as Kate Eddy comes flying through. That is what wing defences do very, very well, and one of the best wing defences of all time, Simone McInnes, will be very happy with that intercept. Watson, the co-captain, to Austin. Lifts it up to Kumwenda. She keeps it in.
Just that presence there, though. Kumwenda, we've seen her overbalancing over that baseline quite a few times because of that physical pressure that she has been under from Clow. So having to flick that ball in.
But you create your own luck, don't you? From those, I know it's very cliche, but it's the 1%ers. And you know, we saw that in the Vixens Giants clash when it went into extra time. They were getting the pickups. They were the ones chasing down the ball more so in that extra time to make sure that they got the win in the end. They had a second chance and they made the most of it.
Absolutely, and utilising the court space. You know, defenders wanting to squeeze their shooters into that small space so that hopefully they do get a little flick or a tip that they can chase up.
Contact call against Weston. Housby steps forward calmly. We're nearly in the power 5, so everything in the Suncorp super shot zone is worth 2. The Swifts can still win it. They're still in it.
And that quick ball movement and sweep across the circle from Kira Austin.
But when we look at this, the Vixens now have scored 9 of the last 10. Proud. Can't flick it back through. Vixens are creating plenty of luck now. Watson has to go back to Weston. You hear the siren. We're in the power 5. We've got 5 minutes to play in this final quarter. The Swifts, they're stepping up their defence. Up they go. But the Vixens are too good. Kumwenda can't make it count. She'll get another go. A little bit of, you can see her just taking a deep breath, just calmly focusing. Watson to Austin. To Weston. Kumwenda.
And we saw again there, Kumwenda just protecting that pocket ball. Clow, a lot of the time she comes out for those screeners when the centre quarters are attacking those pockets, and Kumwenda just getting her body in the way so that she can't come out and have a crack at those.
Every Suncorp super shot that we have, Cloud saying, no, actually, we're not having any down this end. But everyone that we do have in the game, there's only been one so far. Every successful shot, though, that is, Suncorp will donate $100 to the Confident Girls Foundation to help the foundation to continue their work in keeping girls in the game. They'll be wanting just a few more so they can add onto that tally. Clow coming off the court behind play. Tegan O'Shannessy entering the game at goalkeeper. Helen Housby. Brilliant shot from Helen Housby.
And it needed to come, didn't it, Bianca, for them to catch up this deficit.
It's $100 to the Confident Girls Foundation thanks to that Suncorp super shot. What can Singleton do? Not this time. Housby, her second attempt. And this is what happens. You can never, ever discount a team in the Power 5.
No lead is comfortable, is it?
The Vixens, they're up by 7. Anything can happen. Just over 2 minutes to play in the last quarter. Maloney tries to steady the ship, tries to get it to Eddy.
And Kate Eddy just taking the time. The Swifts will be in a hurry, but the Vixens will want to take it nice and slow.
The Swifts have opted now for their tallest defence end they can have. Sarah Clowes moved out onto goal defence. We have seen her there. She's quite a versatile defender. Singleton to Housby. Of course, confidence. She can do it. Another Suncorp super shot for Helen Housby. The Vixens leading by 6. Just over 1 minute 30. Maloney. Everyone caught in this middle court. Weston. Maloney breaks it up. Patient play from the Vixens. Watson. Kawenda drops it back down. Wants to reset. A tall Swifts defence line. They still go over the top. Kawenda just racking up another rebound stat. Just very calm from the Vixens goal shooter. The Swifts, they need a Suncorp super shot. Why wouldn't you want it in Helen Housby's hands? She can't do it this time.
And Mannix throwing it back in. Housby saying, I can do it all myself.
Singleton. Back to Housby. Double defended. It doesn't matter. Brilliant form from Helen Housby. Talk about standing up in the moments. Maloney to Watson. They're happy just to hold on to the ball. Nice feed in to Kawenda. The connection between Watson and Kawenda has been strong. Not just this game, but has been strong all season. 2 seconds. And we'll let the crowd do all the talking. The Melbourne Vixens, a great performance by them, but the New South Wales Swifts, they are showing why they deserve to be fighting it out for a spot in the Final Four.